Hey guys, it's Austin Bach, and I'm about to jump into a Phantom Sealed M13 queue here. Well, I'm already in the queue. There's 6 players already waiting for the last 2 to fire. So M14 is yet to be released online. It's going to be released in about 2 days here, basically. So my next video will probably be a pre-release event, a draft, hopefully. I'm not sure if they do pre-release drafts or not, but nonetheless, I wanted to play with the core set because it's pretty fun. I've played a couple drafts in paper, and M13 is pretty similar to M14. It shares a lot of the same cards. It has a similar feel, obviously different keywords and rares, but shares a lot of the commons and uncommons, so the feels of games are pretty similar. Like you don't have Exalted, but you have Slivers now. There's like the enchantment sub-theme. Alright, here we go. Let's see what our pool looks like. And hopefully this will be close enough to M14 that we can just pretend it is. Last time I did one of these, I got a pretty busted blue-red control pool with multiple Searing Spears and Essence Scatters, and the Thundermaw Hellkite, plus a clone to finish things off. Got a couple of sweet double dragon kills from 10 life. Oh, well, what do you know? Another Thundermaw. So, yeah, might have to go red again. That's a nice coincidence. And an Omniscience value. Probably not going to play Omniscience. But, yeah, Magmaquake and Thundermaw are pretty good. Fervor's okay. Not a big fan. Phylactery Lich is pretty bad. Although it is a very good combo with Stuffy Doll, I must say. So, we might have to take a look at that. This thing's pretty good if we can get it out. But anyway, let's go by color. Pull these. Well, let's leave the red in and take a look at our red first. Dragon Hatchling's pretty sweet. I've heard that it's a lot better in M14 than M13. Not sure why though, but anyway, maybe it's just because there's less things that kill in M14. Still pretty good. So our red is looking pretty insane. Double Blade Tusk Boar, Wall of Fire is okay. It's pretty good defense. Candy Minotaur's just the 3/3, right? Yeah. Rumjin Goblins, Crimson Muckwader if we decide to go black. So I'm going to put this up with the black for now. I forgot that this cycle is in here, like the Flinthoof Boar and that cycle. Not sure if we have any more, but we'll take a look. Torch Fiend just as a bear. Volcanic Strength is a good sideboard card against other red decks. Trumpet Blast is good if we go aggressive enough. So yeah, our red doesn't look too bad. Fervor, I suppose, is playable. Not too crazy about it, but whatever. Stuffy Doll will probably play in whatever deck we play, unless we're like really heavy on the 5s, which we kind of are with Thundermaw, Fire Elemental. Anyway, let's look at our playable whites. We have a lot of defensive whites with Pillarfield Ox and Guardian Lions. So if we wanted to go aggressive, this might not be the color. Although, double Knight of Glory and a Pacifism. This thing is a knight, so War Falcon might be pretty sweet. Although we don't have any red cards that turn it on. Just a bear, double Divine Favor, not crazy about. An Attended Knight, which is a knight. Crusader Valdric, which is a soldier. Double Captain's Call, which is soldiers. This looks kind of insane. Captain's Call plus Healer of the Pride is an insane combo. Gain 6 life for 4 mana, plus get some 1/1s. Although it's not really a good combo with Magmaquake, unfortunately. Although Guardian Lions is, and Pillarfield Ox, I suppose. Griffin Protector is pretty good. Another insane combo with Captain's Call. So the Boros deck is looking like it could be a thing. Let's bring in our Stuffy Doll and our Primal Clay. We have a lot of playables in this combination. Bring on the Pacifism. Trumpet Blast is also insane with Captain's Call, so Captain's Call looks like it'd be really good in this deck. Like, we could cut this Fire Elemental because it's not very aggressive. We want the 5-drop to be our top end, like the Thundermaw. And Stuffy Doll kind of counts as a bomb. Not necessarily, but if we are on defense, this thing is very good. What else? We could cut, like, Vanilla 2/2. Fervor is another good combo with Captain's Call. This is just the Captain's Call theme deck, it appears. We have a lot of 4-drops that we need to cut. Also not very many non-creature spells. Even though it says we have 21 creatures. Oh, I gotta pull these down. We technically have 23 because of the captain's calls, which leaves us with only 6. Should be 6 non-creature spells. Not sure where the last one is. Oh, the Fervor. Not the Wall of Fire. Oh yeah, Wall of Fire would be the cut out of here too, for sure. Not aggressive whatsoever. Rumaging Goblin, not super aggressive either. Not too bad with Fervor though. Instant speed loot, or I guess not instant speed, but well it is, but haste looting. It's not bad. So that brings us to 21 creatures. Well, first thing I want to do, let's go back to color. I want to keep looking at our other colors because we haven't looked at green, blue, and black yet. So we're not playing Omniscience, that much is for sure. We have Stormtide Leviathan, Archaeomancer, Entrancer, Watercourser, Scroll Thief. 2 Divinations. Downpour is okay, depending on the deck. I like it in aggressive strategies, because you can tap their team at end of turn, and then Alpha Strike. Don't think there's a Mind Sculpt deck, unless we wanted to go all in on this Entrancer. We don't have like a Jace's Phantasm or anything of the sort. Unsummon. Yeah, Courtly Provocateur is not bad. I like it in blue-green because you have a lot of fatties and you can force them to attack their small guys into it. But yeah, our blue, as much as I love drafting blue, or playing blue in limited and core sets, because blue is generally at its strongest in core sets, like you noticed in Return to Ravnica block. Izzet was the weakest deck in Return to Ravnica, and Dimir was the weakest deck in Gatecrash, and that's not incidental. It's because they kind of scaled back the power level of the blue commons and uncommons in the expansions rather than the core sets. So I don't think we're going to be blue. What does our black look like? Here's a Harbor Bandit, which also I don't think is playable because it's technically a blue card. Zombie Goliath is okay. Double Veilborn Ghoul, which is not bad with Liliana Shade, I guess. Mark the Vampire. Bloodhunter Bat. What does Blood Reckoning do? I forgot about this. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not that strong. Phylactery Lich is okay, but we'd have to have a Stuffy Doll out for it to be playable. Bloodthrone Vampire, which is kind of a combo with Captain's Call, again, but I think our Boros deck is looking a lot more synergistic than just that one interaction. Tormented Soul, which is good with our Mark of the Vampire, and I guess Trumpet Blast, but that one not so much because it's only once in the game. Duress for the sideboard. Yeah, our black isn't looking that strong either. The one thing I'm a little worried about in all these decks is the lack of removal in this pool. The only thing that can really constitute as true removal is the Pacifism and the Volcanic Geyser, and the Magma Quake for the late game. I guess Volcanic Geyser is also late game, but for that reason, I don't think a controlling strategy is going to work out. So we want to be either green mid-range, depending on how our green looks, or just straight aggro. So let's see what our green looks like. And based on, if we get enough green fatties, I might consider it, but so far Boros is looking like our best bet. Plummet is main deckable in this set. Farseek is pretty good. We got a Vanilla Bear, Centaur Courser, Force Mage, Baloth, or this is Hunt Beast, and Duskdale Worm. We got some good looking green cards, but there's not enough of them. We only have 9 green playables. Ranger's Path is playable, I guess. It helps with our Duskdale Worm and our Volcanic Geyser and Magma Quake if we go that direction. Let's take a quick look at it, I suppose. Take out our white cards, throw them over here. It's 26 playables. That would be enough. But we lose out on our pacifism and all our synergies. This looks okay. We have access to a little bit more removal, possibly, because of the Deadly Recluse and the Plummet. But there's really not anything special about this deck. We're pretty much going to be playing the beats, and we have some underwhelming cards like Blade Tusk Boar. When you're playing red-green, you don't really like to be playing these undercosted cards. Even though Blade Tusk Boar is really good for its color pie, if you're in a red deck that's non-green, this thing is pretty big for its size. But then it gets outclassed by Spike Baloth, and it's suddenly less impressive. Still fine, of course, but not as good in this deck as I feel like it would be in our Boros deck. So yeah, don't don't think I like this. We don't. I mean, for the late game, we have the Thundermaw and the Dustdale Worm, which is okay. But the early game, we're just kind of dirtling around with some random ramp cards, like the undercosted blade test boards and whatnot. A lot of things that just don't feel like they belong in this deck. Torch Fiend, artifact removal, but it's not super relevant, so don't think I like this. Let's go back to Boros, because I feel like it's got some sweet stuff going for it. Wonder if we want Volcanic Strength in the main board. It's an interesting question. We have some small guys. It's good with our Exalted, so that it can make one of our guys too big to kill. It really depends on the deck, though, because I don't know if there's usually more removal, like people are going to have murders and stuff against us, so it's probably not a good idea to put an aura that's going to do nothing against a lot of decks. Fervor looks like it might not be amazing in this deck. Might be the first cut. And then we're probably going to have to cut a creature or two after that, because we've got so many. So let's get this Fervor. Chandra's Fury comes down. So yeah, removal-wise, we've got a handful of spot removal. It's going to be more of a, going to have to be more of tempo than removal in our deck. We're just going to have to beat down hard. So I'm going to keep all my bears, even though the Silvercoat Lion's not very good. Going to have to cut some of these 3s, or these 4s rather. They're all pretty good. Primal Clay seems like the worst of the bunch. I mean, it's pretty flexible, but it gives you like the worst of all your options. Like a pretty bad ground guy, a pretty bad flyer, or just a wall, which is not what we want in an aggressive strategy. I think I'll cut one of these blade test boards as well, just for the sake of making room. Might have to go with the second one too. I mean, like I said, it's pretty undercosted, so if we're looking to beat down, like, it's good evasion against a lot of decks, but it's not the fastest creature in the world. And all of our other 4s either have evasion or synergy in the case of our Captain's Calls, and the Healer of the Pride. Maybe it's just this Fire Elemental. It's expensive for our deck. I mean, I could consider going 16 lands, but with 2 X spells, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe we cut this Magma Quake too, because it kills pretty much all of our guys. There are some tricksy things we could do, like we could go Knight of Glory, attack with it, make it a 4/3, and then Magma Quake for 2. But I think it's just going to kill all of our guys, which is unfortunate. We might have to cut it. I'm just trying to find anything that has higher than 3 toughness. We have the Healer of the Pride. Griffin Protector, I guess, except that's still kind of an anti-synergy. I mean, the Furnace Whelps and the Griffin Protector and the Thundermaw will all survive it, but other than the Thundermaw, these 2 are not really our main strategy. We want to be swarming the ground and then trumpet blasting, basically, or creating synergies for our War Falcons and healers. So I think we have to cut the Magma Quake. The Blade Tusk Boar and the Volcanic Strength, we can side it in. Like, we can side this in against red decks, obviously, or decks that we suspect have little to no removal. It's also decent against green decks in some cases, especially with like the Attended Knight. It has first strike, and we can make it a 4/4 first strike, so the green decks have a hard time killing it in combat, and we can usually eat like a Grux Pack Leader or something for the Volcanic Strength. I mean, they can double block to get rid of it eventually, but by then we've generated more than the 2-for-1 loss that we accrue by playing an aura, which is one of the fundamental drawbacks of playing auras in the first place, which is why I'm not playing it in the main. So 19 creatures is a lot. Usually in sealed, like, this would be fine for draft. This would be a pretty good draft deck, I would say, but in sealed, I generally lean on the side of more removal, which is why I feel so bad cutting this Magma Quake, but it's just so bad with the rest of our strategy that I think we have to go for it. We're just going to have to hope to be on the play, first of all, and that our opponent doesn't play too many bombs that we can't deal with, or we just draw our pacifism and get there. But yeah, this deck doesn't look bad. Like, we've got some good stuff going for it. We've got Thundermaw, late game Fireball. Lots of synergies with Captain's Calls. A War Falcon that's going to turn on a large majority of the time. We've got 2 knights, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all on curve, so we could just curve out pretty well with this deck and roll over any deck. Plus some resiliency against other aggro decks. Like this deck, for a limited deck, it does attack from a lot of different angles, which I like. So we're probably going to go 9 plains, 8 mountains here. Well, we do have the double spell here and here. We have no double white spells. And the Dragon Hatchling, so I think it is correct to go 9-8. We might not be able to cast our War Falcon on turn 1 sometimes. But this does seem correct. I also don't want to be stuck with 4 plains and a mountain and the Thundermaw in hand, since this is our best card after all. So I think we're going to go with this. Just double check. Yeah, pretty even on the red and white, but we do have the double costed spells and the Dragon Hatchling we want to pump into late game. So, man, Stuffy Doll would have been so sweet with Magma Quake too. But we'll have plenty of options decided in if we decide it's something we want. Maybe the games will play out differently than I'm expecting, but either way, I'm going to submit this, and let's go 3-0.